I pledge to stay drug free.
I plan to stay drug free.
I pledge to stay drug free.
I pledge to be drug free.
I pledge to stay drug free.
And good afternoon, and welcome to Expose Under the Sun, sponsored by the Detroit Native Sun newspaper. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and just want to welcome everyone and ask you that if you'd like to call in, our show is live, and the call-in numbers are area code 313-868-0342, 313-868-0351, or 313-868-4336. And our website here is www.tv33whpr.com, and you're watching us live from the awesome cities of Highland Park, Michigan, under the auspices of the Honorable Mayor Hubert Yap and the Honorable Mayor of Detroit, the Honorable Mayor, and his name is Michael Duggan. And if you'd like to call in, please make sure that you do have your phones off the speakerphone mode. But today I just wanted to, mention that our condolences and our prayers go out to Miss Sharon Dumas and the Tankersley family. Miss Dorothy Tankersley made her transition yesterday afternoon. And we just want to, let the Tankersley and the Dumas family know that we're going to keep them in our thoughts and our prayers, and we offer our sincerest condolences to Sharon and her family at this time. I also want to thank everyone that extended prayers to me when it came down to my sister-in-law, Miss Edna Harris, who we made her transition recently, and we recently buried her on Saturday. So again, to my family, to the Griffin family, to the Harris family, we extend our sincerest condolences as well to the loss of Miss Edna Harris. But today, just want to, let everyone know that we've got a pretty good show lined up for you today. I've got a young lady who kind of, sort of, she's the political guru. She's the political expert. And she is the current school board member in the awesome city of River Rouge, Michigan. And her name is Miss Vicki Dobbins, and I believe we have on the line one of my frat brothers. Alpha's in the house. This is a attorney, and his name is Mr. Rodney Watts. But again, I do want to thank you, Ms. Dobbins, for coming on the show today, and we're going to talk a little bit today about we've got an election coming up on November the 3rd, and we also have a debate between the two candidates, the current president and the person that wants to become number 46 in the White House, and his name is Joe Biden, and the current president, Donald Trump. So that's going to be going on tonight, and the moderator for that debate is going to be Mr. Chris Wallace, and he's done this before. He's pretty much like the go-to person when it comes to these types of forums for candidates that are running for president as well as for vice president. So let me see, Ms. Dobbins, I want to welcome you to the show today.
Thank you so much, Darwin. Again, I'm so happy to be here with you today, and we're going to talk about tonight, the debate tonight. And I'm hoping and I'm asking all of our listeners to please chime in tonight, watch the debate, see what's going on, understand our leadership. These guys really need to know that we want answers. And if Joe Biden just stays truthful, he'll be okay. Because we already know that Trump is going to tell a couple of lies.
Okay. Well, let me bring my other person on the line. His name is Rodney Watts. He's an attorney. Let me bring Mr. Watts on.
Good afternoon, Darwin, and that is a retired attorney.
Oh, well, we'll make sure that we have that correction. A retired attorney at law.
Yes.
But he is still my current Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity brother, correct?
A5 till the day we die.
Till the day we die. Okay. All right, Mr. Watts, let me get your impressions. What do you think is some of the main things that's going to happen tonight on the debate? First, I know you're going to watch tonight, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. What do you think are some of the things that you think are going to happen during this debate tonight?
Well, I don't think I'm getting some feedback. Is it coming through to you?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think your president is going to be any different than he's been for the last 4 years. It will be whatever the topic. It'll be one lie after another. I heard something about fact checkers being available. They're going to be busy.
So do you think that there's going to be a lot of fact checking tonight?
Well, let me put it to you this way. It's a slippery slope, because if they fact check everything, the whole time will go to fact checking.
Yes.
So do you think that the fact checking is going to be more so predominantly on the current president or the person that wants to upseat him in the White House?
And I think it's clear it's going to be on the current president, because he has spoken very few truths since he has been sworn in.
Okay. Ms. Dobbins, how do you feel about that?
So, very few truths. And what I look at is in an administration, you select people who are going to support you. And I think Donald Trump did select people who were going to support him. But at the same time, most of those people have been fired by him. What's going on? If you are a good leader, people support you. They stay with you. You don't have to fire them. They're going to do everything they can do to make you look good. For some reason, this gentleman has no way of keeping a staff or keeping administrators. And we're talking about top people. We're not talking about just regular, old Joe Blows, okay? We're talking about top attorneys, top prosecutors, top lawyers, top people in the business, okay? So if you can't keep those people, if you didn't keep them the first time in the first 4 years, who are you going to get in the second 4 years?
Okay.
What kind of administration are we supposed to look for the second term? And I'm hoping that we don't have to look for anyone for the second term with him.
Okay. Rodney, tell me, what do you think are going to be some of the topics that are going to be asked during this debate tonight?
Well,
by the moderator.
I hope the latest about his taxes comes out.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that Chris Wallace will confront him with the fact, not so much that he paid so little bit of taxes, because as long as he followed the law, that's fine. But the fact that for years and years he paid no taxes at all, unfortunately, there's going to be no proof available to prove that he cheated on his taxes because he's going to deny doing that. But the taxes is certainly one issue. Of course, he thinks that the IRS doesn't like him, but then again, the IRS can only receive the taxes that he filed. I think that some of the other issues need to be about his position with regard to Black Lives Matter, how he has taken the Nazi approach to the inner cities in terms of sending in stormtroopers to shut down free speech. He needs to be confronted. I don't know how long you want me to go on this question, but there's a lot, and probably a lot more than they can cover in an hour and a half.
Okay. Vicki, go ahead.
So, Rodney, on my way in today, the radio show said that Biden and Harris have already turned in their taxes. They are already, putting it out there. They, so you don't have to worry about did they pay taxes, did they, submit their tax forms. They have done that, and they have given them to the leaders who need to see that. And it's so funny to me because $750 that he paid in taxes does not seem to be quite a bit when you're a multi-millionaire. I mean, even a good number in the thousands would have been better than $750, I think. So, I just wonder what fantasy he's going to come up with tonight.
Okay. Rodney, who do you think has the most to lose from the debate tonight? Do you think that Donald Trump has the most to lose, or do you think that Joe Biden has the most to lose tonight?
Joe Biden.
Why do you say that?
The momentum of the campaign is going with him at this point in time. Okay. Should he lose his cool? Should he make some significant gaffe? Should he do a layup when a slam dunk is required? All that could hurt him.
Okay.
Trump, on the other hand, is not likely to gain much support out of tonight's debate. The people who are lined up behind him don't care about him telling the truth or paying $700 in taxes. He can do anything he wants.
Right.
Of course, we're now faced with the possibility of another conservative going on the Supreme Court and positioning themselves to vote in his favor should there be a contested election. And it's going to be a contested election. Trump will definitely, he has to contest the election, because if he loses and walked out of office on January 20th, my girl up in New York probably has a few indictments waiting on him, not to mention the second tier of the Justice Department who would like to go after him and can't because he's in office. They probably got a few indictments waiting on him. He's got to pull out all the plugs on this.
Okay. You brought up an interesting point, and I'll ask you this same question I just asked Rodney, Vicki, but you brought up a good point, because it was interesting because Chris Wallace asked him 4 years ago whether or not if he would absolutely accept the result of the election. And Donald Trump responded 4 years ago in 2016 that he said, I quote, "I will look at it at the time." So it makes you tend to wonder, just like you were alluding to, that if he doesn't win, he probably will, probably have a lot of objections to how it was run and the fairness of the election. Okay, Vicki, what do you think?
Okay, so I believe that he is a poor loser. And in order, just like in sports, I love football players or basketball players. At the end of the game, they all hug and kiss and they bid their opponent farewell. Okay, this guy is not going to bid anybody farewell. He's going to fight it until the end. Okay, he's going to make Biden or whoever wins have to do a recount. He's going to do everything that he can do. He's a poor loser. He's not going to back out gracefully.
So who do you think has the most to lose in this election?
I think Biden has the most to lose because if he stumbles and falls, people are looking at that, and it's very easy to stumble on a question that you weren't prepared to answer. So he's got to be very, very careful. However, if he tells the truth about any question that they asked him, just tell the truth, he might be all right. Where his opponent is going to tell several false truths, and so that's where he's gonna fail. He'll fail, but it's gonna hurt Biden more if he fails.
Okay. Rodney, what advice would you give to the Biden camp in preparation for this debate tonight?
First of all, to stay away from the false issues, okay, and to stay with their strong points. How the administration has handled the COVID epidemic, how the administration has failed as to protecting our national security, how his tax situation may have compromised our national security. Those are the hot topics. I'd stay away from whether or not he's going to resist leaving the White House, because that's a done deal if he loses. Okay, the law is clear. The Secret Service will evict him in the same way they will evict you and me if the court sends the bailiff for non-payment of rent. And frankly, I think the news media has spent far too much time on that issue. Trump is masterful at redirecting our attention, okay? COVID is the issue. The economy is the issue. The fact that people are out here without jobs in the worst situation, certainly in my lifetime. I wasn't around during the Great Depression. Those are the economics of it. Those are the issues, not this other stuff.
Okay, Vicki, what do you think?
Well, I think
how would you advise the Biden camp?
I would tell them to stay with the issues. Make sure they stay on task. Don't veer away from the topic at hand. And just tell the truth. Whatever he does, just tell the truth. And I think he'll survive if he does that, because his opponent is going to lie. Okay, so if he just tells the truth, he'll be okay.
Okay, well, a couple of things I just wanted to say about this debate tonight is that I think that one of the main topics that they're going to probably really push, I think, Trump about tonight is about the Supreme Court nominee that he's putting forth in front of Congress. So I think that, just as I think both of you have said, I think the main things that they're going to be having conversation about, I think there'll probably be 6 topics, from what I understand, that Chris Wallace is going to bring up. And of the 6, I think the main 3 that he's going to really touch upon is the pandemic, the Supreme Court, as well as, to look at the fairness and the integrity of the election, because that's one of the hot topics right now, is whether or not if there's going to be integrity when it comes down to this election. But Rodney, let me in the short period of time that we've got left, let let's just change topic one quick second, and let's talk about the Breonna Taylor. What happened in Kentucky? What just give your quick thoughts. We've got a few minutes left. Give your thoughts about what the AG has said in regard to the Breonna Taylor murder.
Yeah, when you've been around a while, there are certain things that you can see that aren't being necessarily shown. Number one, it took so long for them to come out with anything, and it was like, okay, so what's taking them so long? Well, then there came a time when I found out that the brother was the Attorney General, and I said, maybe there's hope. But then when I heard him give that press conference, I knew everything about what had happened. Number one, and I don't know this for a fact because I forgot to Google it, but he's probably a Republican. We're talking about Kentucky, okay? And what they did was they only put part of the case in front of the grand jury. They never looked into whether or not the police had a valid reason for going there in the first place, because if the warrant was not proper and police come to my house and don't knock and don't identify, I definitely have a right to shoot, defend. And now, I think the latest I heard was that there's proof that the brother didn't shoot. So, who knows? When they put only the less serious charges in front of the grand jury, they flim-flam the public. So at this point, what needs to happen is that there needs to be a full-blown federal investigation to determine the liability of these officers, which we won't get if Trump gets reelected, by the way.
So now, do you think, what is the options that the Breonna Taylor family have right now? Is there, on a legal standpoint, can they, question what the Attorney General is doing? Because one other little note, too, for those that may not know, the Attorney General in Kentucky is married to Senator Mitch McConnell's. That is family, and he is the uncle of the Attorney General's wife. So just to see how, there is some connection between the two. But
Yeah.
Is there any recourse that the family has, real quick?
I don't see any, especially since, as I understand it, they settled the civil side of the case for $12 million.
Mm-hmm.
So any information that might have been forthcoming out of a civil lawsuit stays covered up.
I got you. Okay. Vicky.
Okay, so yes, the Attorney General there is African American, and it took him almost an hour to explain how that process was done. I knew then that they were not going to find anybody guilty for killing young Breonna. I like to bring this to your attention that in 1955, a young man was killed, Emmett Tillman, and no one was found guilty of that until 50 years later, when those people came up and admitted that they actually killed Emmett Tillman. Okay, these gentlemen are going to get away. They pay us $12 million and say, okay, we paid you, so go away. The fact that there will be no justice for Ms. Taylor is the thing that hurts the African American person, because we know that for 50 or 60 years, this same process has been done over and over and over to us. Okay, it's just that's just the way it's done, and there's no recourse, there's no justice for African Americans, as far as I can see.
Well, that's the thing. There needs to be justice for not just for the Emmett Till family and the death of Emmett Till, but also for the family of Breonna Taylor. And
There should be.
you know, and that's one of the things we need to really be concerned about. Well, retired attorney Rodney Watts, I appreciate you being on the show today.
Anytime, my brother.
And also for the school board member for the awesome city of River Rouge, Ms. Vicki Dobbins, I thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me, Darwin.
And I hope that everyone in our listening audience and our viewing audience will get a chance to go and watch the debate, and also to keep the Breonna Taylor family in our thoughts and prayers, because I don't think that we've seen the end of, you know, what the Attorney General has mandated in the state of Kentucky. And I think the thing is that if you do have a lot of questions about some of the things that's going on throughout the country, that we need to make certain that our voices are heard on November the 3rd. So if there are people in office right now that you feel are not giving the justice and giving the information in a fair and equitable way, you need to make sure that your voice and your opinions are heard on November the 3rd. You know, we're not trying to necessarily tell you who to vote for, but the main thing we're trying to tell you is to vote.
To vote. Yes,
And
absolutely.
if you don't vote, as you know, you lose your voice.
That's right.
Again, I do want to thank my frat brother, Rodney Watts, for being on the show today, and I want to thank the current school board member, Ms. Vicki Dobbins, in the city of River Rouge, for being on the show as well. So again, you have been watching Expose Under the Sun, sponsored by the Detroit Native Sun newspaper. And if you'd like to get a copy of the newspaper, you can contact Miss Valerie Lockhart at area code 313-457-5944, and you can pick up a copy of the Detroit Native Sun newspaper in your local Kroger supermarkets. Again, this is Darwin Griffin. I want to sign off, but I want to tell you, stay safe and stay masked up.